Hey guys, okay, so before we start, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart from all the love on the Queen Mary video. For those of you who are new and who have subscribed, hi, how are you? Thank you so much. My name is Ashlyn, otherwise known as Ashlyn Anarchy, your resident spooky bitch and Halloween queen. So yeah, thanks again for subscribing, for hopping over here. And let's just get right into it. I'm going to tell you about what happened to me at Zak Bagan's Haunted Museum. So as I'm sure you know, I was in LA. We all saw the Queen Mary video, blah, blah, blah. But I also, after LA, went to Las Vegas. And this is just shit that happens with me and Levi wherever we go. Weird stuff always happens. So I talked everyone in our group into going to Zak Bagan's Haunted Museum in Vegas because I've wanted to go forever, because I used to watch his show Deadly Possessions, which was all about that museum, and I wanted to see all the shit, and everything was fucking wild. Nothing happened to anyone else in our group, but all the shit always happens to me. Always. I'm gonna give you a little story time about what happened there, because the worst part about that museum is that you can't film anything in it and you can't take any pictures, which I understand why, like, it could piss off the spirits, but at the same time, like, if we were allowed to take pictures, can you think about how many, like, full body apparitions, like, would be seen in that museum? Like, how much evidence people would have just from taking pictures of things in that museum. Anyway, so it was wild and I had some weird shit happen to me. And if you guys don't believe any of it, that's fine. I know there are a lot of people that watch me that are skeptics, but I believe fully in everything. Unlike Levi, who was with me the whole trip, and in Vegas, nothing happened to him. It was literally just me, which was the opposite of the Queen Mary, where everything was happening to him and nothing was happening to me. So, kind of a weird reversal there. But we got there to Zak Bagan's museum at about 2 o'clock, I want to say. Didn't get in until around 6, so we had to wait 4 hours to even get into the museum, even though we had tickets. So that was like crazy, and it was really cold that day in Vegas. It was like the one weekend of the year where there was a cold front. So none of us packed any warm clothes because everyone I was with was from Florida. I'm from New Jersey, but I was expecting it to be a little warmer, and even everyone in Vegas was like, it's never this cold, like we have no idea what the fuck is happening. So we were unprepared to stand outside for 4 hours. We were fucking freezing, and we almost like gave up at one point, but I'm really glad we didn't. So we were waiting around for hours, and I knew that weekend it was it was literally the day before Halloween. It was October 30th. I was like, why did I want to say it was like the 25th? But I was still in LA at that time. So no, it was literally October 30th, literally the day before Halloween. So I'm like, if anything's gonna happen, it's gonna be then, because paranormal activity is heightened around that time because the veil is thinner around Halloween. So we got into the museum around 6. I wanted to get in and out earlier because I knew around Halloween they were having this thing called the Carnival of Souls, where they have a bunch of clowns and like scare actors and blah blah blah, and the one thing I am afraid of is clowns. So I'm like, no, I don't fuck with that. Absolutely not. We're getting in and out before that starts. We didn't get in and out before that starts. So we walk into the museum, they give us our tickets, they give us the whole spiel, like we have to sign a waiver, like things that are dangerous could potentially happen and they're not liable, blah blah blah. So we walk out and we walk around the corner to the house, and not only do we see Zak Bagan's, which was really fucking cool. I said hi to him and he like nodded back, and I was like, ugh! Like total fangirl moment. But I didn't want to draw too much attention to him because obviously like there were a ton of other people there and people waiting to get into the museum. So I didn't want to make a big fuss. Like I meet celebrities all the time, so it doesn't really faze me, but like on the inside, I was high-key fangirling because I love Ghost Adventures, I love Zak, I love Deadly Possessions, like I watch everything he's ever done. I'm just getting over being sick, so if I'm sniffing a lot during this video, that's why. I know it's real gross, but you know, a bitch needs to breathe. So we got there, we saw Zak Bagan's, that was really cool. They walk us around the corner into the like yard of the house that the museum's in, because the museum's basically in this old house where a bunch of murders and satanic rituals and stuff would happen. So there's already like this crazy energy just on the property itself before you even get in, before you even see any of the like haunted paranormal objects. So energy off the charts as soon as we get there. They walk us into the yard and what do we see? Like 5 fucking clowns. So already I'm on high alert. I'm like, fuck no, absolutely not. And they're coming out and just like walking around and not really trying to like scare us, but like they're fucking clowns. Like they're creepy as shit. So I'm like hiding in the back of the group, like trying not to like be near any of these clowns. It was not a good time for me in the beginning there. So then they bring us into the actual museum and start touring us around. The first room is full of a bunch of dolls, which are creepy. That's also another thing I don't like. I don't like dolls. I don't like clowns. I just don't fuck with it. So nothing felt that bad in that room. Like we all know I'm like very sensitive to energies. Like I feel like I just feel energies, I feel vibes like very easily. Like on the Queen Mary, like I could tell something was off because I felt it in my gut and I felt it in my chest. So I kind of know like when my body like feels like that something is there. And I've also had other experiences where I've like felt something in the room with me, and that's how I knew the ghosts were there. I don't know if that fucking makes sense, but nothing in that doll room specifically like really made me feel bad like some of the other rooms in the museum did. So after that room, they took us into what looked like a chapel almost, and they had some real human skeletons in there. They had a bunch of little chairs set up and they had us sit in the chairs and told us about what that room was and what was in that room. And we sat in these chairs, and immediately, as soon as I sat, I didn't even sit like fully in the chair. I was sitting kind of on the edge of it, like up more forward. Like I didn't let my back touch like the backrest of the chair. I was sitting like that, just kind of like perched on the chair because I don't know, they didn't look very sturdy, and I'm a thick bitch, so I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna break this chair if I sit in it. So I sit down, and my entire lower back immediately feels like it was like on fire. Like someone almost like, not necessarily like scratched, but it was like someone like swiped my lower back and made it feel like it was burning. It was really weird, and I didn't say anything about it, but my friends that were with me like noticed I was like very stiff and like very uncomfortable in that room, and afterwards they were like, are you okay? And I told them what happened, and it was just weird because they also said in that room Vanilla Ice leaped up from a chair because something touched him, and I'm like, oh my god, did like the same thing touch me? It was really weird. And as soon as I got up from the chair and as soon as I left the room, it was gone, like immediately. Super fucking weird. Like this is just like word vomit of what happened because I'm trying to like jog my own memory and hope I don't forget anything. But yeah, so then they brought us into this room that had a bunch of paintings. It was the haunted art room, and one of the paintings that was in there was the Crying Boy paintings. And if you know anything about the Crying Boy paintings, they were very popular in England, and they were kind of known to be cursed. They were linked to a lot of fires where everything in the house would be reduced to ash. Like there would be nothing left in the house but that painting, completely unscorched, completely untouched, to the point of where a bunch of British newspapers started reporting on it and saying like, hey, if you have one of these paintings, maybe get rid of it. So they had 2 of those in there. They had a bunch of other artwork. And then they had Bela Lugosi's scrying mirror, which the origins of that is still kind of debated. Like if you actually like do a little research on it, like it's unknown if it actually belonged to Bela Lugosi or not, but the museum claimed it does. So I looked into it a little. There's still like Bela Lugosi's relatives still aren't sure if it actually belonged to him or not, but the woman who sold it to the museum was like so positive that it belonged to him. Anyway, side note, that mirror does freak me out a little. They have it covered and then they uncover it. They're like, you could look into it if you want. And like, of course I'm gonna fucking look into it. Like, that's what I'm there for. And Levi and the rest of my group all looked into it too, and we were talking about it later. I wasn't like really thinking about it too much, but to me it was almost like hard to see my reflection through. And I was talking to them about that afterwards, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Like, we had no problem seeing into it. But when I looked into that mirror, I didn't, like, I saw my reflection a little bit, but it was almost like my reflection with like a haze in front of it. And none of them had that experience. And I know one of the stories that mirror is known for, they brought a priest in and he was trying to scry through it and nothing was happening and he was getting kind of frustrated, and I guess did something, I don't remember exactly what he did, but when he looked into the mirror again, he said it looked like it was a black pond with a bunch of white, like, translucent, like, fish in it. Like, that's the best metaphor he could find for it. It was like this moving, swirling kind of fog, which was similar to what I saw when I looked into the mirror. So I don't know if that, I don't know too much about scrying. I've been kind of looking into it, like thinking about maybe getting a crystal ball, but the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. And I don't know what kind of spirits Bela Lugosi was trying to contact, and if that maybe there could have been some residual energy, if that's what I was seeing or what. But what I saw when I looked into that mirror was like not a normal mirror like what everyone else saw, but I don't know, it was just kind of weird. We saw Ed Gein's cauldron. Nothing in that room really, like, it, I was uncomfortable being in that room just because of knowing like what happened with Ed Gein and who he was, and like just like, it just didn't feel right being in that room, but nothing too particularly weird happened in there. Like, nothing crazy. There's two specific incidences, other than the ones I just kind of told you about, that like really stick out to me to being very, very weird. So they were touring us through, and they stopped us in this little corner near a staircase. And I walked around to the other side of the staircase to like look down into whatever room this was while the tour guide was talking. And I didn't know, none of us knew what the room was at that point, but I was standing there and I felt very, very, very heavy, almost like I weighed like 3 times what I normally did. Like, I was like something was pulling me down into the floor and like anchoring me there. But at the same time, when I looked down into the room, when I looked down into the basement, like something was pulling me towards that. Like, there was a physical like pull from me into that basement. Like, something wanted me to go down into that room. And we later found out, like literally like 2 seconds later, that that room was the basement of the museum that no one is allowed in. Only Zak and the chosen few that he allows down in there can go into that basement, and it is where he sometimes conducts rituals, and that's where the dark history of the house comes into play. That's where the satanic rituals were done, and so there was already like an energy there to begin with. So whenever Zak does his rituals, he does them down there because of that lingering energy and the fact that those rituals done previously not by Zak could have opened some kind of portal. So I had never felt that kind of, not, I don't want to use the term energy because it wasn't an energy, but I've never felt that kind of pull and that kind of like heaviness in a paranormal situation before, because I knew it wasn't just me being like feeling like I don't even know how to explain it. It was just so weird. And as the tour guide was talking, the spot I was standing in, he pointed to, and he's like, yeah, someone got scratched right in that spot that you're standing in. I didn't get scratched, but I did definitely feel that weird weight and that weird energy in the room. Oh, and let me backtrack just for a second because I totally forgot about this. for some reason until now. But in the room with the crying boy painting and Bela Lugosi's mirror, it was fucking hot. That room was so hot. I don't think anyone else in the group was really affected by it, but I got in there and immediately started sweating. I'm like, it is really hot in here. And I was like fanning myself, and everyone else in my group was like, no, it's not. Like, it's not hot in here. And I'm like, yes, it's so hot in here. And like, so many of those paintings are known to like burn down the building. So maybe whatever spirits or energies were attached to that were like coming to pick on me to make me feel hot. I don't know. But that was also really fucking weird. So fast forward, did the thing with the basement, whatever, that wasn't, it was freaky, and I'm really glad we weren't allowed into the basement, because I don't know, like, just based on the feeling that I got outside looking into the basement, if we actually went into the basement, I feel like something really bad could have happened. Like, it was just such a negative feeling. They have a whole, like, serial killer exhibit where they have, like, a bunch of stuff from Charles Manson and Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy and like O.J. Simpson and like all those kinds of people. John Wayne Gacy. They have a bunch of original artwork from John Wayne Gacy. And that room was kind of weird, because I know I wasn't the only one that's like experienced this, but the whole room smelled like chicken. So I don't know if one of the tour guides was just like eating, or if like it was some kind of weird, like, because spirits can make you like smell things. One of the like indicators of a spirit is smells. Like, sometimes you smell like a perfume or whatever, and I don't know if someone was trying to just make us smell like fried chicken or like chicken noodle soup or like some kind of shit, but like the whole room smelled like chicken. It was really fucking weird. And I was talking to someone in the tour group, and I was like, do you smell that? And they're like, yeah, it's chicken. Like, what? Like, why did the room smell like chicken? The room I had the most experience in, the one that affected me the most, without even knowing why it was affecting me, was the dead celebrities room. We walked into that room, and for some reason, I just immediately started crying. Like, not like sobbing, but like I started tearing up. I was kind of like wiping away tears. Like, that whole room, Levi said he didn't notice because I was like quietly crying. Like, I wasn't like full on crying. But something in that room really, really affected me as soon as we stepped through the door. And there was this outfit in the corner, and you couldn't see, like, the text on it was very, very small. Like, if you didn't pay attention to what it was, you wouldn't have known. And we didn't know what this outfit was until we went through, like, the whole tour, until we were leaving the room anyway. But the entire tour, they had stuff like, what's his name? Brandon Lee's costume from The Crow that he died in, Patrick Swayze's outfit that he died in, one of Patrick Swayze's teeth, stuff like that. But the entire time we were going through this room, oh, they also had Sharon Tate's wedding dress, and they say that's always the one that like really like moves people, but that wasn't the thing I was focused on. I was focused on this really ornate embroidered tunic in the corner. The whole time I was just staring at it, and I knew this was like the thing that was like really like affecting me, and I didn't know why or who's. Like, just talking about it, like, kind of gets me, like, really, like, emotional. I didn't know whose outfit it was, or why, like, looking at it was making me so emotional, or, like, what was really going on. And, see, like, do you see this? Like, it's, like, literally, like, just thinking about it. Whew. But turns out it was one of Robin Williams' costumes. I don't remember what movie it was from exactly. Actually, you know what? Let me try to figure out what movie it was from. No, so I can't find what movie it was from. But it was something of Robin Williams, and anyone that knows me knows I love Robin Williams. Loved Robin Williams. Still do. He was one of the main reasons. Oh my god, I'm getting literally so emotional just talking about it. One of the main reasons I want to be an entertainer, why I did theater for so long, why I legitimately want to be an actor, like full on, like, and why I want to do comedy, because I want to make people happy. I want to make people feel the way he did when I watched his movies. He just brought so much joy and so much light into the world, and I have always felt this really strong, like, connection to him, and like I've always just adored his work. So finding out that that was his costume, that was something of his in that museum, like, shocked me, because I, like, immediately, like, going into that room was drawn to that, and I had no idea what it was until we were leaving. So that really affected me personally. It might have been nothing, but knowing what it is afterwards, like, gives me chills, just knowing how much that man meant to me in, like, during his life. I'm not someone who cries in public, so the fact that I walked into that room and started crying is, like, very bizarre for me. Ask literally anyone who knows me. Like, that's not me. Like, that's not, I'm very, like, I'm not someone who has, like, mood swings like that, and I'm normally, like, very, like, chill, like, emotion wise. Like, I don't, like, it's rare for me to get that worked up over anything, like, so I don't know what that room was doing to me. I mean, knowing what it was now makes sense, but it was very strange. I didn't go into the Peggy the doll room. Everyone else in my group did, but something to me about that felt wrong the entire week before. I couldn't get it out of my head about Peggy and about that room, and deep down in my gut I had this feeling that I shouldn't go in there. Do I kind of regret not going in there? Yeah, but at the same time I'm glad I listened to my gut, because who knows what would have happened. Like, she's been known to give people, like, physical ailments and even heart attacks. So that was the one room I kind of dreaded going in for that reason, and also I don't do well with dolls. But they do have a live spirit box set up, like, right in front of her. And that's the one reason I really wanted to go in. Like, I wish I could have gone in and, like, done something with the spirit box, because Levi went in and said no one said anything but him. And I wouldn't have been afraid to talk to her, but at the same time something was telling me not to go in there. So who knows what she would have done. Like, maybe I would have said something to her and it would have been wrong, or she would have misinterpreted it as being rude and she could have hurt me in some way. Because even the tour guides, I was standing outside the room talking to our tour guide, and she's like, yeah, I've had really, like, weird experiences with Peggy. There was another tour guide I was talking to later on who literally was like, yeah, Peggy the doll told me clear as day on the spirit box to fuck off once. And I'm like, yeah, that's a spirit I just don't want to mess with. Like, I don't want to risk, like, possibly, like, angering her. Like, same with, like, if I went and saw the real Annabelle. Like, those are, like, two dolls, two entities, like, that I just don't want to risk messing with. Like, disrespecting at all. Like, they've been known to literally, like, kill people. We did see the Dybbuk box, the one that Zach and Post Malone opened last Halloween. The whole room felt kind of weird, but nothing crazy happened in there. I know Levi said that was the room he felt the most, like, the most in, like, energy wise, and he's not one of those people that believes in any of that shit anyway. So the fact that he even said that, like, it felt weird in there says something. But to me, that wasn't the room that held the most energy. Like, maybe if it weren't under a glass case, I would have felt more, but I don't know, maybe it was just the day and the Dybbuk was, like, just, you know, sleeping or something. But I didn't feel much in the Dybbuk box room. It was really the Dead Celebrities room and the basement that got me the most. That whole building just felt strange. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And if you have the opportunity to go to the Haunted Museum, I definitely say do it. I know other people have had wilder experiences. I wish I had this big, wild, crazy story to tell you guys about what happened there, but it was more like little tiny instances that I thought were kind of strange and kind of off. Yeah, that was basically what happened at the Haunted Museum. So nothing crazy, but we did see Zak Bagan, and we had a bunch of little like creepy things happen, and that's all I could really ask for. I would love to get the opportunity to go back, maybe get to see Peggy for real this time, because now that I've done it, I'm like, oh, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But I'm a firm believer in listening to your gut. It's there for a reason. It's telling you, sending you these signals for a reason. So I did what was best for me. I would have loved to actually have gotten to use my spirit box in the museum just to see if anything came through. I think it would have been kind of crazy considering all the things that are in there. But I understand why they don't let you do any of that, because it could be potentially dangerous. Like, just being there and possibly pissing a spirit off is like danger enough. So yeah. I don't know if the Ed and Lorraine Warren Museum has the same policy, but I would absolutely love to someday go there, maybe be able to film there. That would be amazing. Like, kind of doing my own investigations, because when it comes to other people's investigations, I can be a little bit skeptical. So I'm one of those people who wants to experience everything myself. Because even with like other YouTubers' videos in the Queen Mary, like, I never would have believed anything until I experienced it myself there. Like the spirit box session in the isolation ward, that was wild. Me and Levi are already kind of talking about possibly going back next year and staying fully overnight, because that's the one thing we regret. We wish these people hadn't scared us away. So yeah, we're definitely thinking about that. And it's spooky time 24/7 here, so you're still gonna get haunted videos like even well into into the year. During the summer, during the spring, it's always spooky here. Like, that's just who I am. It's the kind of shit I love. So yeah, I don't know what else I really have coming up for you guys, but December is kind of a crazy time for me. I work in retail, so the holidays are always kind of not so crazy, so I'm not going to have as much time, so my videos may not be as consistent. They may be a little more sporadic. I've been looking into doing maybe a couple overnight paranormal investigations, which might be fun, but I'm thinking about waiting until it gets a little warmer to do that. So if you guys want to see that, or if you have any suggestions for videos or anything you want to see or just want me to talk about, because I have a lot of experience, well, not a lot of experience, but I have more paranormal experience than some people. If you want to hear maybe some of my own personal ghost stories, or if you want me to tell you about like the lore of some ghosts, like some urban legends that happen around me, or just that kind of stuff, let me know. But from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for coming over here. Thank you for consistently watching my videos and commenting. It really means the world to me. I still can't really wrap my head around how many of you there are now, which, I mean, it's not that much. You're like, it's 100, but like, to me, that's a lot. Like, I just make videos mainly for myself because I enjoy making them. This video has been long enough, just me rambling. If anything wasn't clear, feel free to ask, because I'm a whole mess. Thanks guys so much. I'll catch you next time, which will be very, very soon, I promise. Guys, thank you so much for everything. Bye.